Dr. Homebrew is brought to you by 5 Star Chemicals, providing safety and cleaning supplies for brewing, distilling, and winemaking at 5starchemicals.com.
Doctor, look!
Stand aside, nurse. I'm Dr. Homebrew.
Stand clear.
Welcome, everybody. This is Dr. Homebrew, and, in case you're not watching on video, and, why would you be? Brian is air guitaring. Not only is he playing air guitar to our theme song, but he's, pulling the whammy bar on it, too. And I've never actually, literally ever seen that.
I've never played a whammy.
Why can't I hear you?
I don't know.
Yeah, your mic is sounding really rough.
When are we just going to burn the studio and start again? Because just nothing works. Yeah, it's very bad.
I don't know. I can move.
Well,
hear
you
you
might
now?
have to, which is unfortunate because that's the, quote, good mic.
Oh, hey. Oh, it just... Hey. Oh.
Better?
I'm here. I'm there.
All right.
Is it plugged in?
You're coming in now, loud and clear. Brian, are you there?
Oh.
Woo!
Yes.
The ghost of Brian is here.
Ghost of air guitar.
Well, if it keeps acting out, Brian, we'll just shift you.
Yeah.
Okay. Nate, see, it's gone now, right?
It's gone.
Yeah. Here, I'll mute you and just unplug it and plug it in, if you wouldn't mind, from the back of the John. Yeah. Before we get to the show today, and we have a good one, of course, because, we're drinking homebrew, and I'm really not sure how it can get better than that. I want to thank our sponsor, 5 Star Chemicals. You go to 5starchemicals.com, learn about PBW, Star Sand, and other stuff, too. They don't just make PBW and Star Sand. They do Sandy Clean, they do a whole bunch of stuff, and they have actual equipment, too, gloves and aprons and safety equipment and stuff like that, some tutorials and all that. But you know what, more importantly, not only are they keeping your beer equipment clean, but they're huge supporters of homebrewing in general, obviously, but of this show. And they were a sponsor for Dr. Homebrew before we even got going.
I like them a lot.
Hey, the crowd here.
Five, not 4 stars,
not
not 3
4
stars.
star.
5 stars. Get
Brian,
the 5 star.
Are you there?
Use them for cleaning other household purposes.
No, you're not there. You got to shift. Sorry, bro. I don't know what's going on. This is this whole thing. Why is Bev heckling us?
Because I have a really good camera angle.
Oh. Well, you know what? Can you, Brian, extend your microphone to the other Brian, and then you can take the middle microphone? There you go. Let's do that.
All right. Is that enough length for you?
Yeah. Seems to work for me.
All right.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, hey, we got this situated, everybody. Don't worry about us. We are fine.
Broadcasting professionals,
Go with
man.
the flow, man.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Like homebrewers, we can take whatever comes our way and make it worthwhile, make it work.
That's true.
Welcome to Coffee Talk.
Man, before we get to our first guest, which we have a Foreign Extra Stout.
Yeah,
Right,
an
John?
FES. Yeah.
I want to tell you guys about the stupidest thing I've ever seen on the internet with regards to beer.
That's going to be something pretty special.
Brian, you have no idea you have no idea.
I don't.
There's some brewery somewhere. I'm not going to name their name because I don't remember it, and I don't know where they are because I didn't bother to look it up. They are serving IPA, like cloudy IPAs, in glass soup bowls.
Whoa.
As a thing.
Wait, you mean like a bowl like you would make soup in? Like
literally
a Corningware
a glass bowl.
Like a Pyrex?
It's clear, but it's a glass bowl, and so they've quote-unquote discovered that in a bowl the aromatics are more prevalent. And so they have a glass. They're serving IPA in a bowl.
You know what they should do?
In a bowl.
The same one they use for their soup.
God, what are we doing? I fucking hate beer. I hate it. It's a bowl.
What if you took a plate? Because the plate is going to be shallower and wider.
That's what
and
I'm
it probably
saying.
will express the aroma more. That's my I'm giving away my $1 million idea right now, and it's killing me because I could start my bar where I serve IPA on wide plates, like a straw maybe, so you don't pour it all over yourself. But I'm thinking that might be the optimum presentation. If a bowl is good.
If a bowl is good, a plate is better. My thought was just to pour it on the counter and snort it through a straw.
Well, yeah, I mean, who doesn't do that?
So it's not like just one of those like stemless wine glasses that's kind of round on the
here,
bottom.
let me show you
It's
a photo.
freaking bowl.
Dude, it's a.
Wait, you have photos of this?
Well, I snapped it off Instagram.
Oh, okay. So you didn't go to this place?
Please, no, that would involve me leaving the house. You can see the name of the brewery, but don't mention it because I don't want to like.
I'm guessing it's in Tokyo or someplace like that.
No. It's literally a friggin' bowl,
Wow.
and it hurts me to my core as much as cloudy IPAs hurt. This hurts. What are we doing? What are we doing right now in beer? Come on, guys.
That beer looks like shit too.
Well, you're drinking the same exact beer, dude.
But just the head and those beers and those anyway.
Have you looked at your glasses? You guys are drinking this. It's the same. It's the same. You guys are drinking the same beers.
Clumpy. It's like a weird clumpy head on that one.
Hopefully it's a joke. I didn't even really notice that, but
People just try to get a rise out of you.
I hate it so much. I hate it so much. I just hate it. But you know what I don't hate? It's Foreign Extra Stouts. And I'm excited to drink a Foreign Extra Stout here today. We're going to have John on the line here in just a second. Oh, John, are you with us?
Unavailable.
Oh.
No.
Please leave a message.
Let's leave a message to
the
John.
tone. When you have finished, please hang up or press the pound key for more options.
Hi, John.
Hey, John. Look, this is Barry from work. I want to tell you that I've been receiving your coded messages, and I will meet behind the dumpster. I just need to know how many flashlights to bring. So give me a call back. You have my number. Presumably, we've been communicating through these things for a while now. So I know that you know how to get a hold of me. So go ahead and do that, and I'll see you at work. But don't make eye contact at all with me because, of course, everybody's watching.
And also, your Foreign Extra Stout is pretty awesome.
Yes. I can tell you about having a Singapore sling in Singapore last week if we're trying to kill time waiting for John.
No, we're not trying to kill shit.
We can wait until later.
Yeah, do it. Let's do it later. I do want to talk to you about that. Let's drink John's beer now, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll come back, and we'll tell a story, and we'll do a whole bunch of cool stuff.
Rocking.
All right. Who wants to start, boys?
Okay.
Go for it.
Brian Schar.
I will start. All right. This is I really enjoyed this beer. And I'll tell you, I have not had a lot of Foreign Extra Stout. So this really, I love stout, I love dark beer, I love porter, but the Foreign Extra is one that's always been a little bit of a mystery to me. So I pulled out the guidelines, which is which you always should do as a judge. Just marching through the score sheet: aroma, roast malt, black patent malt stand out initially. Just strong coffee aroma. Get a low, woody, earthy hop aroma, which really pairs well with the roast malt. Finding hops that pair harmoniously with dark malt can be really tough. These hops were great. No diacetyl, didn't get any alcohol. Got a slight pepper aroma. Not a green pepper, but like a cracked black pepper aroma from this.
That sounds nice,
So
honestly.
it was real good. I gave this 9 out of 12 for aroma.
Okay.
Appearance, sample was almost black with a slight reddish highlight around the edge. It's really hard to tell how clear such a dark beer is. You can kind of look at the edges, but it seemed clear. Head was low but persistent. I gave it 2 out of 3 for appearance because the head should be a little more, little larger, a little more prominent in a beer like this.
Okay.
So what really surprised me about this beer is it was really bitter. Right, so starts off, malt got sort of a chocolate coffee, a little bit of a roast character to it. Bitterness was really high, and I went and I don't always go look at the numbers in the styles. it's always been maybe a personal failing or something, or personal preference. I don't always pull the numbers out for these things.
It could be both. I mean, honestly.
Why not both?
You're right.
Well, the bitterness of a Foreign Extra Stout is in the range of 50 to 70 IBU. We compare that to an IPA, that's 40 to 70. So this is a more bitter beer than some IPAs.
Right,
so,
okay.
I mean, this beer really struck me with how bitter it was, but it was bitter in a pleasant way. It's funny, in dark beers, you can get dinged in competition for being too bitter, right? I've entered American Stout, and I've gotten the comment, it's too bitter. Well, it's supposed to be bitter. It's an American Stout. It's a bitter beer.
I've got that comment in Oatmeal Stout.
Yeah.
Which, and I guess it applies more in mine than yours, but there's no perception of bitterness in it, like at all. Yeah. But I guess I'm modifying your comment to state that sometimes bitterness isn't from the hops, it's from something else, or I don't know.
Right. No, anyway. It's from the dark malt, and I think that judges can get confused sometimes.
Did you say Darth Malt?
Well, yeah, Darth Maul, that guy with the horns and all the red shit in his face.
Darth Malt.
He was a good character. I think that dark malt and bitterness can confuse judges sometimes. But this beer was really well done. I would guess it was something like a Magnum or Horizon, like a really flavor-neutral sort of bittering hop, but really, really well done.
Okay.
Very super well attenuated. This is a fairly large beer. It's not a giant beer. It's a fairly large beer. Really dry, really well attenuated. Finish is short, balanced toward bitterness. Gave it a 14 out of 20 for flavor. 5 out of 5 for mouthfeel, medium body, medium carbonation. Not really creamy, but this beer doesn't need to be creamy. It's what I call more perky. Very bitter, but not astringent. Slight warming. Overall impression, I gave this an 8 out of 10. It's impressively dry and well attenuated. It's definitely got drier finish and less esters than a tropical stout. And if you read the style guidelines, that's what it's supposed to have. Tropical stout is more estery, fermented at higher temperature, a little sweeter. If there's a flaw, this might be even too bitter for this style.
Okay.
But having said that, I like it, and I gave this a 38 out of 50, which I think is a pretty. It's an excellent in the excellent range. That was really well made. There's no technical flaws. There's no off flavors. If there's any issue, it might be a recipe issue with bitterness. But I'm not convinced that's an issue. Okay. I'm not convinced that I didn't score this lower than it should have been scored.
Right. Okay. All right.
Yeah, 38's good for that.
Excellent. Yeah. Go ahead, Brian.
All right. Sipping this nice Foreign Extra Stout here. It's rich chocolatey malt and just right up front in the nose. Nice aromatics there. It's got a strong roasty quality. Stopping, I would say, just short of acrid or burnt, but it's almost pushing that envelope a little bit. The fruitiness from the esters is low. Dark roast coffee, no hops noted, no diacetyl or DMS. I would say it seems in the impression of the nose is just kind of biting and it's not sweet. And you get that before you even taste it. But it seems okay to style. Only a little faint alcohol in there. Shouldn't have too much of that. So that was good. Appearance-wise, it pours a high light brown head of finer and larger bubbles. The body of the beer itself is just very dark brown, almost black. You can barely see through it. It was nearly opaque. The head retention was fair as well. So, it's just when I looked at it, I shined a flashlight when I was judging it, and it was just very hazy seeming. Like it seemed like it was just full of particulates in there. And you couldn't even hardly see any color at the corners. So it was, I guess it was pretty much black, not even dark brown. Who am I kidding? Flavor-wise, that high roastiness to me just attacks right up front, burying any of the smoother. Some of the nicer things I got in the nose was a nice smooth coffee and some chocolate notes underneath it, but they just kind of get stomped on in the flavor. fairly dry in the finish, medium bitterness from the grains, definitely not hops. There may be, some hops in there as well, of course, but I'm getting kind of a slight smokiness in the aftertaste. It's not intensely burnt. It's, again, kind of treading that line. The balance is definitely to the malt and specifically the roast. And that, again, the black patent, it's just that classic flavor, which some people love and other people may not, but you're probably not drinking, stouts too much if you don't. So medium low alcohol is noted. It's got a little bit of that in there. It's not a wimpy beer, but it's cleanly fermented ale. I didn't detect any off flavors, DMS or diacetyl, anything like that. So nice job there. Mouthfeel wise, slightly biting from the darkest acidic roasty grains. Not really all that astringent. I would guess there is some astringency there, kind of at a medium low level, but it's hard to separate that from just the bitterness and the biting quality of the beer. But that's something that could be backed off to kind of smooth it out just a little bit more and make it more enjoyable to me. But carbonation was medium, or medium high. It kind of, pushed up a nice big head there. So only a hint of alcohol warmth, not very creamy or smooth. Just overall, it hits most of the marks for style. It really goes there, and I did note the same thing about the difference between the tropical stouts and the foreign extras. It's definitely not that big, bright, fruity and strong alcohol. It's just rich roast, dry, biting, a little hint of smoke and roast in there, just attacking your tongue. The esters were fairly low and out of the way. It's not fruity, just quite cleanly brewed, and reads down the style guidelines pretty well. Could use a touch more alcohol maybe, and perhaps dial back the roast just a touch. Bringing up the hop subtly may help too. It seems like all the bitterness I was getting was just biting roast bitterness, but you can use hops to bitter it up a fair amount as well. So something to kind of balance all that intense and biting roastiness. I enjoyed the beer. I thought it was very good, but I gave it a 34. I thought it was, hit the style pretty well. Just a couple things I would adjust.
Okay. Very good. Let me just check my email, make sure John's not itching to get in. No, he's not there. So, sorry, John, my bad. I should have contacted you, days ago. But I didn't. And so here we are. That's what happens. It's the nature of the beast, and by the beast I mean my kid.
I think he had been planning on talking to us, but
that's too bad.
I would blame the front office of the doctor because it's always the front office staff's fault, and your front office happens to be under a year old, and
baby,
she needs to get on the stick with her job.
Can we blame Bevo? Would that be okay?
No, Bevo gets blamed for a lot of stuff, but not this, unfortunately.
All right.
Is that all right, Bev?
Well, you're looking at me, which implies that I was supposed to be paying attention, and I clearly wasn't.
No, we're just talking smack about you.
Look, I'm just glad you have your friggin' earphones in.
Fair enough.
I made a really good joke to you on Monday's show, and you just right over.
Sorry. I didn't have any headphones. There were none for Beverly.
Well,
See, I was talking smack about Alice and her employee performance as a baby, which is clearly under par.
Dude, she sucks. No, like what I've noticed about it being a parent is like look, I'm emotionally radical to begin with, but like I've never gone. Shut the fuck up! How dare you? No, I've never gone from. Like looking at something before and going, I love you so much. Like, you are the cutest thing. To, like, a minute later, just screaming in my head, why are you... Stop. Go to bed. I don't know, man.
Why are you pooping again?
Dude, I can't. Oh, she's starting to talk and walk at the same time, which I think I've read that the babies can't really do both. It's kind of one or the other. But she trades off either going blah, 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 or standing up on her own. And anyway, and so now she's grunting. She's in grunting phase, which is nice. But she has a grunt/whine. Where she'll just be sitting in her high chair and and you get that. I'm not going to do it like actually like the way she does, but follow me on Instagram, Major Drip, and I post videos. And
2 P's.
It's super annoying for 2 hours.
Yeah,
and it's so annoying. And then I'll try to put her to bed, and then she doesn't want to sleep because she's teething, and it's like, what? I mean, I understand you're going through changes. Being a baby is hard. But I'm too irrational of a human being to be calm about this, and I can't deal with it. And Anyway,
she's getting a terrible performance review this year.
It's okay to have these feelings, JP.
Well, you know what, and I'm realizing that, Brian, and I appreciate you saying that to me, because people always go, "Oh, well, you know what? It's every baby is different." But also, what I want to point out is every parent is different. And that to me is the key. It's not just that, your child is different and then parents are supposed to be the exact same. No, people are different, and so as a parent you can be outraged at stupid shit too.
Yeah, we're all just winging it, you know. You can read as many books and self-help internet columns as you want. It's not gonna.
I've had a couple books that have actually helped, like the Wonder Weeks book. It's called the Wonder Weeks. Really, really good, because there's like a pattern of when kids are kind of shitty, and it's usually like follows or precedes some big milestone.
Changes like
teething, crawling. Or teething, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So
all that stuff.
Anyway, we're gonna take a quick break here, everybody. And when we come back, we're going to drink some more homebrew,
hoppy beer,
and talk about Brian's trip to Singapore, which I'm actually really excited about, as much as as much as I can be. All right, everybody, it's Dr. Homebrew. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I don't think you're drunk enough. How about swilling down a cool 5-gallon keg of some kick your own ass?
Hello, fellow BNers. This is Sully from the 21st Amendment Brewery located in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from Giants Park. Before Nico and I opened the 21A and before I was a professional brewer, I homebrewed on my small 4-burner apartment stove in a back house in Santa Monica, California, making my extract brews before graduating to the daunting idea of all-grain brewing. Homebrew books and information was hard to come by back then. The internet hadn't been invented yet, along with other things we take for granted today, like electricity and potable water. One thing I wish I had back then when I was learning was a radio show that could teach me the ins and outs of brewing and answer questions that I had about homebrewing, a resource for making great craft beer. The 21st Amendment Brewery is excited to be a proud sponsor of Dr. Homebrew, a great show that teaches you what you need to know about making incredible beer. Good stuff. Listen up, you might learn something. I certainly did. And thanks for your support. Tasty Crack Games.
Now, back to the examination.
All right, everybody, thanks for sticking around. Let me turn this down.
That bass is good too. You could air bass this.
It's pretty good. I love air bass, dude, because it's just, I don't know, man. I like bass. I was talking to Warren about a session, like why would I play? I mean, I play the bass. I've tried to play the bass. I suck at it. But then when I learn a song, I go, okay, well, I learned that song. That's cool. Now what? I'm never going to play it.
Practice it 100 times and join
then
a band.
What? Yeah. Well, right. But what are you going to join a band?
JP.
You want to start a band?
Let's do a little band thing.
I don't know, man.
For one of the events, at NHC or something.
That implies that I'm going to events again.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not doing anything. I don't do anything anymore. What are we drinking today, Brian Cooper? What's our next beer, bro? Let's talk about it.
If you listen back to episode 115, almost a year ago, we had a beer called Kick Your Own Ass Ale. And this is a beer that my brother and I brewed way back in 2003 or something. 15 years ago, something like that. Yeah. 2004. And we were just drinking a bunch of...
Wasn't it Arrogant Bastard clone?
Yeah, drinking a bunch of Arrogant Bastard and wanted to brew something. And we looked up some clone recipes and just, brewed this on the patio of my apartment. And we're jamming on the guitars and just wrote the song, or we just blatantly rip off the... not only Ren and Stimpy, but especially Fish, and then also the Beverly Hillbillies. And it's Earl Scruggs, I suppose. I don't know. Lester. What's his name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Latin Scruggs.
So it's a very musical inspired and stone inspired beer. Those guys kick ass down there. And it was one of the few beers back. It takes you back a little bit. So it's kind of more of a classic style, like, hey, here's a big, different microbrew from the 90s that still holds up, and I still drink it. I love that beer. I think it's great.
Really?
Just a great balance between the
Arrogant Bastard. I haven't had an Arrogant Bastard,
and I kind of like drinking them more aged. Sometimes when they get past their supposed due date, they're just better. They smooth out and get a little sweeter.
I love that about Celebration.
Yeah.
Like, Taryn just found a 6-pack of Celebration, like at Trader Joe's, and I'm like, yes, buy that shit. It was the last one, and it's in my fridge, and I'm going to wait. I mean, Celebration in, like, June is, like, perfect. I mean, it's good all the way through. But anyway, I know what you're talking about that.
We did a vertical Celebration tasting at NCHF last. It was interesting. They were different after a while.
Yep.
The vertical in the elevator in San Diego?
Yeah. We're straying off topic, but
we all try to kick our own ass on camera. I mean, we can all stand up, take off our headphones, and see if we can kick our own ass.
We could try. So Keith helped us judge this, and and JP actually judged it. I should make you fill out a sheet for me.
No, I'm not going to do that. But, I refuse.
It was like, I really liked it as it was, and it kind of fit the spirit of the beer we had, but it was a little dry, like kind of. If you're reading through the American Strong Ale style, it's a 22 B American Strong Ale. But you guys had some really good feedback from me, and I liked it a lot as it was, and I felt like it was it really tastes like the beer I brewed.
Okay,
but we thought of ways to make it a little bit better. So we passed along the feedback to the PicoBrew people, and I kind of texted and messaged with Annie a bit.
Nice.
And so the feedback from the original was the judges wanted a little bit more sweetness. I thought maybe the best way to do that would be just, since it is kick your own ass ale, boost up the alcohol a little bit, and not necessarily raising the mash temp. So like from 7.8 to like 7.99 or something like that. It was a joke that someone would think it was a 7-something% beer, and then it kicks their ass because it's like,
that's right.
7.99. It's pretty much 8.
But is that 0.2% of an alcohol? In all seriousness, is that going to do anything, or
it's
is
not
it just
that much? So the other trick was Keith suggested adding some Munich malt, or maybe some dark Munich, to increase the malt complexity a bit. And I wanted to keep that change kind of small, but perhaps I don't want to make the beer too dark.
No.
But a bit of, something darker in there will help. We thought the bitterness was at a pretty great level, but the late hop flavor and aroma could come up a fair amount, especially if you're adding more sweetness, which is going to, need to be balanced as well. So I liked the hop character that was there from the Chinook. It was a nice resiny, grapefruity, piney thing. And so that's what I passed along to them, and they did it. They brewed it in mid-October. So it's been aged. They bottled it November 30th, and here we are. Today's January 23rd. So it's about a month and a half or so in the bottle. And
that's pretty appropriate.
Good time for me to drink this one. So
Okay, well, bust that open, dude.
We're gonna pour it.
Do I have a glass? Is that mine? That's
Thankfully,
mine.
that bottle is for evaluation purposes because we are evaluating it.
It's true.
From a lab.
Don't try to sell it.
I think that they laughed a little bit too. I told them, we judged it on the show. Like, hey, I mean, it's hard for me to judge my own beer sometimes because
What's harder, judging your own beer or kicking your own ass?
We will find out.
Well, you know what? Honestly, speaking of PicoBrew, they have. I'm supposed to be getting an evaluation copy of their still soon.
Oh, cool!
I'll let you guys know how that goes. But if you're interested in, really dialing in your recipe formulation and your repeatability factor, or if you're like me and you don't have time to really devote to a full brew day, but you still want homebrew around, PicoBrew.com. They've redesigned their Zymatic. Now it's the Z series or the Pico Pro.
They're shipping
they also have the Pico C, which is little packs. The still works with all that kind of stuff. So they're really doing some good stuff. They're don't think of it as automating your home brewing, but think of it as bringing home brewing to people who are otherwise unable to do it. Like me, I would not be able to homebrew if PicoBrew wasn't around. I just don't have the time. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't want the time, right? Yeah. Well, and that's also it too, because I had a 10-gallon system. Now Terrence has it. I'm not going to drink 10 gallons of beer. I do not drink that much homebrew. It's mainly Sierra Nevada Pale Ale or Celebration when it's in season. It's kind of in my fridge all the time. That's it.
Yeah, I get bored with something with 10
honestly.
gallons of something before I'm done drinking it.
Super bored.
And we used to have, when my daughter was a lot younger, we'd have these big parties, and we would kick a keg and a half in one day.
Yeah.
But I just don't have that amount of, I can't drink 10 gallons of stuff anymore. Plus, I'm downsizing my living space, and I don't have space or the need for a 10-gallon system.
Exactly. So anyway, go to PicoBrew.com. You've heard all about it. Check it out. Their website's great. It's been redesigned, it looks like. And you're going to learn something about yourself, about life, and more importantly, about love.
If you're not careful, you just might learn something.
That's true.
Anybody old enough for Fat Albert in here? Or is that just me?
No, I got you.
I got nothing.
No.
You're not old enough, Beverly.
Do you want some of this beer, Bev?
No, thank you.
Okay. It's actually really disgusting. So you might actually really like it.
Sign me up.
Okay.
No, thank you. I'm good.
All right. Brian Schar. Let's let Brian Schar go first.
Let's let Brian Schar go first.
All right, because it is Brian Cooper's beer, and I did judge this as if it were just the beer of some guy off the street
schmuck.
and not some dude that's sitting 2 feet away from me who's my unpaid internship as a guest host relies on his goodwill and all. This was a nice beer. Initially, the aroma was a balance between piney, resiny hops. I was guessing Chinook, and sort of a sweet caramel, dark malt. There's you're holding up to the camera. Nice, kick your own ass. There's a noticeable light alcohol, but it's not hot or solventy. Very clean, no diacetyl, no off aromas. Gave the aroma a 10 out of 12. In fact, I should for the camera. I'll put this up to my nose here by the mic and. Smells good. That's nice. And there's there's a little bit of caramel, but it's not diacetyl and it's not butterscotch. We actually discussed that a little bit earlier, and this doesn't verge into like diacetyl territory. Appearance 3 out of 3. This beer is crystal clear. Heads medium and persistent. Colors dark copper with reddish highlights. Like the style guidelines for 22B suggest, there's definite legs on the glass when you swirl it around, which indicates higher some alcohol presence. Flavor, initially the flavor is sort of caramel malty, which is interesting given how hoppy and resiny, piney, slightly citrus the aroma is. But the balance is toward the malt. So low hop flavor, which is more citrus than piney, in the flavor to me. Very well attenuated, so excellent job, Brian. This thing fermented amazingly.
I didn't ferment it.
Dude, let's
he didn't brew it or ferment it at all. Just his recipe.
Well, let's told the lab what to do.
Excellent job, PicoBrew. You guys fermented the hell out of you mashed and fermented this thing well. Bitterness level, medium high. There's a little less hop flavor than the aroma promises, but it's still very tasty. No off flavors, definitely some sweet ethanol in the flavor, but it's not a harsh or solventy ethanol. It's, to me, a good higher alcohol beer ought to have some sweet ethanol that is not harsh and not off-putting. It should be there as sort of a sweet component that complements the malt, and that definitely is there in this beer. So I give this 14 out of 20 for flavor.
Wow.
Mouthfeel, body's medium-high, carbonation's medium. There's definite warming. It's smooth, but I wouldn't go so far as to say it's creamy. Not astringent at all. 5 out of 5. Overall impression, 8 out of 10. And I'm not just giving this a 40 because Brian's sitting right here.
He's in arm's reach.
He could punch me right here. He could lay me out right here right after this. And Brian Schar's gone home. He's not going to be a guest. He's just fine. He's
taking a nap.
out. Yeah, he's taking a nap right now.
I've been working out for this moment.
Oh, God. The attenuation's really amazing. The only thing I would tweak is maybe give it a little more hop flavor. But in terms of the malt character, going back to we'll discuss the previous show a little later because both Brian and I just listened to the previous episode on this. You want to hold off on that, Brian?
That's fine.
You want to do it right now?
People can listen on their own, but go ahead.
One of the things that got discussed on the show a year ago when there was a discussion of kick your own ass ale was that it should be a little more malt, a little more sweetness, a little more malt complexity. I think there's definitely malt complexity and malt sweetness in this beer.
Yes.
So that the malt is dialed in perfectly. This is the exact right malt for what this beer ought to be. And there was some discussion of hops on that show too. And I think it's hard when you get to a higher alcohol beer like this that's not an IPA. Everyone's so used to IPAs. Dump dozens of pounds of hops in.
Right.
It's difficult with a beer like this to dial the hops in exactly right. I would maybe put 50% more flavor addition. I might go that high for flavor addition, 25 to 50%. But otherwise, this beer is really nice. I wanted more earlier. And Brian's like, no, we have to save some for the show. He's like, all right, but I'll probably have some more after this thing. But it's really good, really well done, and I may buy the Pico pack when I get my Pico Z in March.
Okay.
All right.
So cheers. Good job, Brian. 40 out of 50.
All right.
Nice work. Brian, what do you think about your own beer?
Well, do you have any tasting notes first, JP? What do you think about this beer?
Yeah, I do. Here, give me a score sheet just so I can look at the categories, please. I'm not going to fill one out because I'm above that. Whatever's above whatever's above Gordon Strong, I'm one above that.
You're
I don't actually
ultra master.
Yeah, all my notes actually just uploaded to the neural net.
ESP's notes to the sheet.
The aroma I think was great. I mean, I basically agree everything that Brian says. Although I think the malt, there's too much malt sweetness.
Oh no! We've swung.
I just want to ping pong now back and forth between. No, honestly, man, I think everything is great. I think Brian is correct. I would like a little more hop aroma out of this, but it's also hard because it's 2 months old.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
But when it's fresh, you probably get a lot more of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I would personally not screw with it at all. I mean, if I had to pick a nit or two, I would say maybe somehow get it not as attenuated because it is a little too dry of a finish, I guess.
Interesting.
But
well, there's some water
otherwise,
adjustment.
I think it's great.
The recipe I put in, a couple teaspoons of gypsum in the original recipe, so I put that in for the Pico recipe.
I think the mouthfeel is creamy. I think it's unlike any commercial beer that I've had in the last 5 years.
Agreed.
And I think that's different enough that it will stand out. For that reason, just alone, nobody's making beers like this anymore. Nobody does this. It's all single malt and 4 hops at 2 minutes before it's kegged.
Yeah.
And so I like your point about drinking it earlier because kind of one of the points of having a Pico is that you're drinking it right then, right? And it's a couple of gallons or 1 gallon or whatever your size of Pico pack is.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. It may be the fact that this is actually more like 3 months old if you look at the date.
Sure.
We're at the end of January.
That's true.
And it's an October beer. I mean, this is 3 months old. It's still
it's been
really good.
Stored in my oven at warm for 3 months. So
on your roof.
That's right. I mean, I'm basically just going to parrot everything Brian said. I would give it a 40 as well.
Just keep doing that.
I don't think Brian was incorrect about anything. I think this beer is perfect.
Do you know there's a beer called Slayer Dark Double Alt Ale from Ninkasi that they put out in the winter?
Yeah.
Slayer. Yeah, it's got the logo looks like that.
Yeah.
It's their winter ale that they put out, and that's another one that kind of inspires me too. And it came along later, but I really enjoy that beer when it comes out.
It is sort of like
they're
that.
Still doing it or not. I haven't seen it in a while.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah, that's kind of a fun one too. It's a double dark alt, but it's kind of bordering on American strong ale kind of territory too. And this has some German malts that you would use in an alt as well.
But I wonder if that alt yeast is to round that mouthfeel out a little bit more.
Yeah,
and not to make it so dry. Because what kind of yeast is this?
Oh, just like the WLPO one.
Okay, yeah. Like with an English yeast, I think you would maybe get more of that, English character. But look, I think it's fine the way it is. I wouldn't touch it. I say approve it. Put this out to market.
I approve this beer. Yeah. I'm glad I listened to JP and Keith. And thanks for the feedback, Brian Esquire.
I want to hear how you justify your 50-point score on this.
No, it's 52 actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I'll just go through my notes quickly because you guys covered it pretty well. It's a rich resiny hop at the start there, kind of a medium level, faint citrus and pine, even some kind of caddy notes in below that, which I kind of enjoyed. The malt expresses as kind of a toasty, rich, bread crust-like element. There's a little hint to some roast and smoke in there. Not really roasty or smoky, but just kind of a background like you get with some of those beers that are flavored with a darker malt or just colored with a darker malt. But this isn't really that. But it has a little that kind of edge. Probably because it is kind of dry and not all that sweet, but it's definitely sweeter than the last one for sure. Hints of alcohol poke through a little bit. No DMS or acetaldehyde. At first, I kind of thought I got a tiny hint of butterscotch, but I agree it's more of a caramelly thing. I think there's a lot of C120 in this guy here, so or actually no, 70-80. Sorry about that. And it's got some oats in there too for kind of trying to smooth out the mouthfeel a little bit. Color's deep amber, and it's a nice rich color, very good clarity. Pours a medium light tan head that persists quite well. Mostly finer bubbles. Got some legs and some lacing in there, evident. Pretty nice looking beer. A very well-rounded malt in the flavor with toasty, biscuity notes, medium high, and a touch of bitter chocolate behind that. The bitterness is medium and not harsh. I kind of recall the previous one felt a little rougher on the bitterness, and Keith made some comments about that as well. It was kind of like a little coarse in the bitterness, but I like the way it's expressing itself here. Has a kind of a semi-sweet finish and some obvious alcohol, kind of a punch there to make me want a few more sips, and a nice clean ferment. Medium resiny hops are balancing to the malt, so it's just it's not super hoppy in the flavor. I agree, but there's enough there that I like the way it's balancing itself. Really smooth alcohol in there, and nice complexity in the malt, which I agree is a really good change.
Yeah.
Body wise, kind of medium full bodied. One thing we wanted too was a little more body in the beer, and I think we got there. So medium carbonation, no astringency, somewhat creamy smooth. Other sensations, which is always asked for on the score sheet. My acid hurts, so pass the beer. That's a line from the song. Sorry. No, that's not really sensation I'm getting from the beer. I'm just starting to kick my own
Well,
ass.
I was going to say, then, you're not really good at marketing. If that's, you're not going to sell a whole lot of these things.
I was very alarmed by your statement until you said it was from your song.
My butt hurts.
Yeah.
Let's get some more of this.
It's from kicking my own ass. Sorry. It's just kind of a joke, Anyway, I like what the changes have done for this beer. The harsh quality is kind of gone. It's not too dry anymore. The hops shine through just enough. The alcohol is a touch more prominent. Hey, kick your own ass. And I approve this beer.
Excellent.
Again, I will tell them, just put it out there. Nobody, I don't know. But yeah, they're doing some cool stuff, and there's going to be some other Brewing Network beers. They might already be out. JP, you need to work on your stout, dude.
I've already said that they're good to go.
Okay, so you approve that.
Oh yeah, no, I approve that, and
it's a process, but I think it's really cool that they asked us to do that, and I appreciate what they're doing out there. Those guys are pretty awesome.
Well, absolutely, and they must have done my oatmeal stout 5 times. Yeah.
Wow.
And they did it again, and they keep perfecting it because they really want to make sure it comes across, because it's not necessarily linear with this whole thing. You don't give them a recipe and they go, okay, well, here you go. So,
and you're not a perfectionist or anything at all, right?
No, I'm definitely not a perfectionist. Anyway, you were mentioning water, Brian. The Smart Brew water testing kit incorporates a revolutionary photometer system, which is the first and only one on the market with its own app. It's the only meter that runs water tests with no math needed on your part, which is why it's my favorite water tester for sure. You can email the results of your tests to your brewers if you're on a commercial setup, or post it to your Facebook page and let your homebrew club get the lowdown on your base water profile. Ability to test over 40 different water quality tests, 4 come preloaded, and more are available. Stuff like total alkalinity, chloride, calcium, hardness, pH, sulfate, and more with only 4 mils of water needed for each test. So check it out. Go to smartbrewkit.com. Enter code TBN10 for TBN stands for Tankard Bikini Noon. Nether region. Tankard Bikini Nether region 10. At
Tankard
checkout,
Bikini Noon.
and
Tankard
save
Bikini
$10 on either the standard or advanced Smart Brew testing kit. All
You
right.
ever hear about these number stations? That are like these stations
Yeah,
on
dude. They're like little
shortwave that
ciphers
are
or whatever.
1095.
And it's all just coded.
Yeah.
It's coded for the Russians and Chinese and shit.
Yeah,
Get
and
your
like that
lottery
Tankard Bikini Noon thing made me think of that. So, Tankard Bikini Noon.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and wrap things up and, all that kind of stuff. We will release you into the podosphere to download another podcast of your choice. Hang on, it's Dr. Homebrew.
Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star San, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today.
Are you a member of the White Labs Customer Club? If not, you should be. It's the easiest way to earn free stuff for turning in your old homebrew labels from either Vials or Pure Pitch. All you have to do is save your labels and redeem them for things like free yeast, an exclusive White Labs t-shirt or sweatshirt, and even the opportunity to brew with the yeast man himself, Chris White. Signing up is easy. Just go to whitelabs.com/customer club, fill out the registration form, and then mail in your labels. They will return the favor by sending you awesome White Labs swag. Go sign up today at whitelabs.com/customer club. White Labs, pure yeast and fermentation since 1995.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but we're going to have to pour you out.
Back to Dr. Homebrew.
Thanks, everybody, for sticking with us. It's Dr. Homebrew, and we're going to give some prizes away. It's the Grog Tag $40 At Least Your Beer Will Look Good gift certificate. And unfortunately, Mr. Brian Cooper is ineligible to win this.
Must be present to
Employees
win.
of the Brewing Network are not eligible to
That's
win
right.
any
Our
prizes
lawyer on
administered
staff.
by the Brewing Network.
Our lawyer here is telling us that he can't.
Bastards.
So we're
No
gonna
prize for you.
We're going to give it to John, everybody.
Yes.
There we go.
Very nice.
Good job, John, who emailed me 10 minutes ago. I was like, yep, 8 o'clock sounds great. I'm like, damn. So I can't get John on, unfortunately, but... hey man, we had the.
It's one of those Johns.
What did the kick your own posterior?
He messed up the time difference. That wasn't our. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's still my fault. I take 100% blame. And John, sorry, dude. Okay, that's it.
He'll still get some good beer notes then.
For sure. Well,
I'll
and he
send
gets
him the score sheets
the 5-star pack as well too. That's some good stuff as well. All right, we're going to get out of here. A little short show, but, it's my fault, and I'm stupid. All right, everybody. Anybody
You're not
listening
that
live,
stupid.
you can stay tuned in about, 10 minutes, and we'll have another show for you. If you're listening on podcast, just hit the next, or you can go back and listen to any of our lovely shows on the Brewing Network. You can listen to Heads and Tails, which is myself and a really stupid young man called Warren, and we talk about craft spirits, and we talk to spirit people. So if you're into spirits, spirit tasting, all that kind of stuff, Heads and Tails is the show for you. And, of course, Brew Strong when it records, and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, thanks a lot for tuning in, everybody, and until next time, be good to each other.